Hello everyone, and welcome to an F1 Esports world record. So I've been lucky enough then to get hold of some footage from Patrik Holzmann, who was actually one of the finalists in last year's F1 Esports event, and is unbelievably quick at these qualifying events. He pretty much dominated the events last year. He's pretty much dominated them this year on the event he qualified. He qualified on the first event, came first, and then went on to win his placement race. So very, very dominant. So I saw this footage and I said, man, you're going to have to let me use that footage on my channel because it's unbelievable, so much faster than me. So let's have a look. So here we go then, this is the very start of the event, as Esteban Ocon in the Force Indy. The target is to get to 4th, and actually you can't actually get higher than that in this race, so it will just be 4th position we go for, but it's all about the speed, and I tell you what, this guy is unbelievable. He just stays on the limit for the entirety of the 5 laps, and just flirts with it, flirts with the limit the whole time, and just doesn't ever quite go over it, and is just going forward at a rate of knots. And you see on the bottom right there, he is, I believe he's German, so FET. It means rich fuel, so 3, there's a number next to it anyway, so you can see he's on rich fuel right now. And he does keep an eye on how he uses the fuel, because he tends to use it in the straights mostly, but he does use it all by the end, of course. So braking very late then, taking both curbs into the first couple of turns, down to 4th gear, up to 5th gear, then up to 6th. Little lift, down to half throttle, then back hard on the throttle. So now we're going to try and catch these guys as soon as we can, and unfortunately in this event, the AI ahead, the blue flagged Julian Palmer, does unfortunately get in the way a little bit. It's quite inconsistent. I've tried this event a few times myself, and where Verline just ahead overtakes Palmer does vary quite a lot. So you can see here, Patrik does get quite lucky, because that's one of the rarer places that Verline does manage to overtake Palmer, but he goes from the outside of Verline there and just absolutely nails him, outbreaks him by a mile, and still manages to get his apex. So time lost there is next to nothing. He's really lost virtually no time at all getting past those guys, so a little bit fortunate, but of course also just unbelievable pace here, breaking at 100 metres on the right side of that, which is very, very late, down to 2nd gear, back on the power. Then you notice he doesn't short shift too much. In my attempts, I was actually short shifting a little bit more than him, so he doesn't short shift very much at all. He just doesn't need to. Just got such great throttle control, and again, just flirts with the limit the whole time. You see Hulkenberg up next. He's the guy we need to overtake, and then we'll have pretty much a free track. We just have one more blue flagged car to overtake after him. So it'll all be about Patrik's unbelievable speed. So once again, up to FET rich fuel mixture down this straight, and 19.3 is his best lap time, which is unbelievably fast. Really, really unreal speed. And if you're not sure, I suggest you guys go and give this event a go yourself. The setup he uses is just a top time trial setup, pretty much. I think he has made a few tweaks, but he said that might just be placebo. Fundamentally, it is just a top time trial setup. So you can pretty much just use his setup and go to the inside of Hulkenberg there. Again, nice and easy, still nailing our apex, not running wide. Very, very clean indeed. Very, very minimal time lost there once again. And yeah, so nothing special in the setup. It's all about just this man's unbelievable driving ability. Big shout out to him for using my footage once again. So here we go, let's have a look at his driving then. So down to 4th through there, taking some curb on both sides of the track. You always get a kick of oversteer through that corner, but it's about managing it, and he manages it unbelievably well. Little lift once again to get the car to turn in nicely, then hard on the power for this run down this very short back straight, breaking out 100 metres on the right hand side once again there, right down to 2nd gear. Quite lady chase down to 2nd gear, because he don't want to get too much rotation in the car as he's trying to turn it in. Up through the gears once again to 5th. Very late once again, downshift down to 4th gear, just holding a really nice tight line and getting hard on the power once again, just going as wide as you possibly can without putting all 4 wheels off the track. Down to 4th once again, braking just to get to the shadow there, down to 3rd, just clipping his apex nicely, just drifting it through these last couple of corners, hard on the front once again, up to rich mixture for the very, very long start finish straight. And you see just ahead, I believe it's Alonso we're going to lap, but he won't catch us for another lap or two. And blue flags, the AI aren't great, you have to catch him in the right place, but luckily Patrik will do that, and breaking just between the 100 metre walls and 50 metre walls on the right hand side, once again taking both curbs, staying in 4th there. So once again, an example of him not short shifting. In my attempts, I was short shifting up to 5th pretty much straight after the first turn, so good example of them once again of his great throttle control, braking just to get to the shadow there, down to 4th once again, quite a late downshift down to 4th, hard on the throttle once again, up through the gears, braking just your screen gets to kind of the edge of the barrier on the left hand side. It's quite a tricky braking point without any braking zones. Down to 2nd gear, 1 gear lower than I was doing, interestingly, just to help the car get rotated. And again, not short shift, you're not feeling the need to, he's just able to control it on the exit there, taking both curbs once again, and really just admire this guy's speed. I know I've been saying an awful lot of positive things about him, but honestly, this is my thoughts. When I first watched this video, I honestly watched it and went, wow, how am I supposed to emulate that to be able to qualify for this F1 Esports event? He's actually already qualified, which is why he's uploading this footage. As I mentioned, he qualified in the first event, so he doesn't actually need to qualify here. This is just for fun for him. This unbelievable speed is just what he does, just to pass the time. And just tapping the curb there, which you don't really want to do, but he just, again, just because he's got a nice amount of slide, it doesn't really affect him too much. He still manages to get the rotation through the corner, up to which once again you see Alonso just ahead. We are starting to catch him now, and you'll notice every single lap is a sort of a mid-19. Again, unbelievable consistency. I think when I tried it, my best was something like a 20.3, I think was my best. So he's a whole second quicker than me, and I certainly had some time to find, but a second is an awful lot of time, isn't it? And you'll see this run is pretty close to perfect. I've mentioned before, these events are all about, first of all, having all your assists off, having AI on 110 difficulty. Beyond that, it is just all about your fastest lap time and then your overall race time. So it's effectively a 5-lap time trial event. With a bit of traffic threading. You'll see Alonso here does get in his way ever so slightly. He doesn't back off quite enough, so he does have to go on the outside of him. But once again, pretty much kisses his apex there. Only runs ever so slightly wide. Luckily, doesn't make any contact. Otherwise, he might have got a warning for that. And any penalties or warnings do come off your overall score. So once again, yeah, this is basically a 5-lap time trial event. So it's just all about nailing the 5 perfect laps in it. And you see there, one of the very, very few mistakes he made, just a little bit of oversteer on the exit. But once again, controlled unbelievably well. He just rolls with it, doesn't he? He's just able to just correct it just enough so that he doesn't really lose any time. And it is almost a perfect run. There's a couple of minor things, like he could have got DRS on Hulkenberg. Perhaps with another 10th lap time in the first couple of laps, he could have got DRS on Hulkenberg, which would have, of course, gave him another couple of tenths. But then again, he might not be able to pass him into the first turn. He could have got slightly better on Alonso, and then a couple of very, very picky. I'm being extremely picky now, don't get me wrong. He's currently the top of the leaderboards. So being very picky, but you know, his driving isn't perfect, but realistically over 5 laps you aren't going to expect an exactly perfect run. You know, you're going to miss the odd apex by the odd meter or so. That's just what's going to happen. So we're on the final lap already now then, and let's just once again talk through this. So he pretty much just doing the same thing every lap. I noticed in the final chicane, sometimes it shifts down to second, sometimes it shifts down to third, which I guess is just very much depending on how much speed he's carrying in. So he is actually adapting his style. He doesn't do the exact same thing. Once again, they're running a little bit wide, just causing a little bit more oversteer than he'd like, but not really losing any time because of it. Nailing the curb there. You want to try and nail the curbs as much as you can really for a lot of these corners, because it does drag on the car ever so slightly. If you do that on one side of the car, it will help you get the car rotated through the corner, which is what he does there. Once again, down to second. Hard on the power, so we're down to lean mixture now, so we ran out of fuel. So we're just using lean in this final sector so we can use rich mixture as he comes to the start-finish straight. And coming through the final turn now. Oh, sorry, the final couple of turns into the final chicane. A little bit of sliding once again, but just, again, controls it beautifully. Hard on the throttle for the run to line then. He is now going to go up to Rich as well for the run to line of this world record run. And I hope that impressed you guys as much as it did me, because honestly, that was breathtaking. When I watched it, I was just like, wow, that is incredible. And here we go. Confirmation, and as you saw at the beginning of the video, the very top of the times, 49.7 was his overall time. You see that 4 tenths clear of the reigning F1 Esports world champion, who was also qualified. As he's the champion, he gets a free pass to the next round. So, of course, I'm sure he could go faster if he tried. But look at that, 4 tenths clear of everyone. Of course, this is only the first day, first 24 hours of the event. So I imagine people will get closer. And unfortunately, there is a bit of a cheat you can do in the final chicane. In the very final corner of the chicane, you can cut that corner quite heavily. I've seen on Twitter, as I will show you now. So I hope you can't exploit it. I've not tried it myself. I hope that's not too exploitative, because you can gain quite a lot of time doing that. So I'm hoping that's a bit of a one-off rather than something everyone could do. But I thought I'd make you guys aware of it, just if you're trying to get somewhere near qualifying for this event. It's only fair. Just level the playing field that everyone knows the advantage you can gain, as much as it is sad to see that. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that run. And once again, big thank you to Patrik Holzmann. A link to his channel and his video is down in the description. And I thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.